Truth or dare? Someone asked Chen Yi. If you were given another chance, would you choose Li Shang or Sha Ji? Chen Yi downed a glass of alcohol, and said with a sense of loss, back then I was too poor. If Sha Ji stayed with me she would only suffer, so he chose me. But now things are different. He has money, he has power, he has status. He protects Sha Ji carefully. He would even kneel on one knee, and let Sha Ji step on his knee. As for me, he does not understand. I already gave you the title of Mrs. Chen. What more do you want? Today is my birthday. Chen Yi asked me what my birthday wish was. I tossed aside the earrings I had taken off, blew out the candles perfunctorily, yet clasped my hands devoutly, and said seriously, I hope we can get divorced soon. That one sentence froze Chen Yi. The not very bright smile on his face slowly faded. After a while he sighed, and rubbed his temples helplessly. Still mad. Didn't I rush back already? Stop talking about divorce all the time. I might take it seriously. I looked at Chen Yi. There was obvious exhaustion on his face. Spending a week traveling in Northern Europe with Sha Ji must have been tiring. Then a 9-hour flight, and without stopping, he drove straight to Wating to pick me up. He had someone prepare a cake in advance, and asked the auntie to buy fresh groceries. As soon as he got home, he personally cooked a table full of food for me. He was so busy, he did not even change his clothes, all just to celebrate my birthday. If this were any other year, I would have been deeply moved, thinking I was the happiest woman in the world. But this year was destined to be different. I felt nothing, and was even a little annoyed. I looked straight into his eyes, expressionless. Divorce, divorce, divorce. Did you hear it clearly? If not, I can keep saying it. I beg you to take it seriously. Chen Yi completely cooled down, his jaw clenched, the muscles tight and sharply defined. He kicked a chair, with a harsh screeching sound. Li Shang, enough. How long are you going to keep this up? Is this interesting? He took several deep breaths, trying to calm himself. I didn't miss your birthday. I rushed back to be with you. That's enough already. I am going upstairs to take a shower. You calm down. After saying that, he went upstairs without looking back. I glanced at the overly sweet cream cake on the table, and the still steaming dishes, feeling genuinely confused. Why did he think that rushing back to spend a birthday with me was something especially important to me? My friends had prepared fireworks, good alcohol, and handsome guys. I could have spent a perfect birthday with them, but everything was interrupted by Chen Yi's sudden appearance. Gentle, polite, deeply affectionate, he held my hand, smiled lightly at my friends and said, "Can I borrow Li Shang for one night?" Then he forcefully took me away. I didn't struggle, didn't resist. There was even a smile on my face, not because I was happy, but because I had been a refined person for so long, that doing refined things had become instinct. Chen Yi was showering on the second floor. I leaned on the sofa and smoked. The phone rang. When I was on my second cigarette, it was Sha Ji calling. The phone rang for half a minute. I watched quietly, without answering. I stubbed out the cigarette in the ashtray, and poured myself a glass of wine. The phone rang again. Still Sha Ji. I answered, and put it on speaker. Sha Ji's spoiled and domineering voice came through. Where is Chen Yi? Let him answer the phone. I didn't respond, and drained the red wine in my glass in one gulp. Li Shang, speak. I know you are listening. Let Chen Yi answer. I need him. TCH. If his phone wasn't turned off, do you think I would call you? So annoying. Her voice carried barely suppressed anger. I curled my lips coldly. He's in the shower. What's the matter? Sha Ji fell silent. A few seconds later she spoke again, her voice sharp with restrained sarcasm. You two really don't waste a second. Do you have nothing else to do, besides sleeping together? Disgusting. That made me chuckle. I am sleeping with him legally. Even the police can't do anything about it. What are you upset about? Or should he stay chaste for you? What nonsense are you talking? Sha Ji snapped angrily. I couldn't care less about sleeping with him. Chen Yi might be precious to you, but to me he is nothing. She said that with some confidence. I couldn't be bothered to argue. What is it? If you don't say it, I am hanging up. The password, Sha Ji said urgently. What's the password at home? It's a long string of numbers. I can't remember it. So annoying. 942944. The password. The password for all the property door locks. And Chen Yi's phone lock screen. All these years, it had never changed. I once asked Chen Yi what those 6 numbers meant. Chen Yi said lightly, nothing special. I just said it randomly. For a time, I believed him. Later, I took his phone, used the 9-key keypad to type those numbers. The text that came out was, Sha Ji. Without a word, I hung up. and tossed the phone aside. As I poured myself another drink, Chen Yi came out wrapped in a bathrobe. He was drying his hair. I handed him a document. What is this? The divorce agreement. Sign it. Chen Yi looked at me coldly, walked past me toward the liquor cabinet. I raised my hand and flipped the entire table of food. The crashing sounds were especially piercing. In the early morning room, Chen Yi was furious and closed in on me. What exactly do you want? Just because I didn't come back in time to celebrate your birthday? I laughed coldly. Who do you think you are? Don't take yourself so seriously. This divorce agreement, either you sign it calmly, or we make things so ugly that you sign it anyway. Chen Yi kept a tense face and viciously threw the towel to the ground. Unreasonable. He turned to go upstairs again. I spoke up. Shaji just called. She said she couldn't reach you, didn't know the password, and couldn't get into the house. Instantly, Chen Yi's steps stopped. Why didn't you say so earlier? Did you tell her the password? Why would I tell her? My tone was cold and detached. Chen Yi's brow furrowed even more. He hurried upstairs to change clothes, but I rushed forward in a flash, kicked him in the back. As he fell, I pressed my knee into his back and twisted his arms behind him. Chen Yi let out a muffled groan and roared angrily. Li Shang, what are you doing? I bent down close to him and slapped the contract onto his face. Sign the divorce agreement, otherwise don't even think about leaving. Let your precious little princess freeze for the night. This time, Chen Yi was silent for a long while. Do you know, what I can't stand the most is that you always resort to violence. 4. My relationship with Chen Yi is very complicated. During the poorest years, we lived upstairs and downstairs, yet never exchanged a single word. My mother was beautiful. She gave birth to me at 19, and men never stopped appearing around her after that. My grandmother learned her lesson and raised me like a boy from a young age. She even had me learn self-defense from the uncle downstairs. That uncle was a boxing coach, covered in muscle, but had a sickly son who had to be pampered like a fragile princess. That was Chen Yi and his father. When we were kids, I played with Chen Yi, protected him, called him my little brother, and said I'd cover for him. That protection lasted 10 years, until my grandmother passed away, and his father died. We became children with no one to rely on. We should have huddled together and kept each other warm, but strangely, for no particular reason, he began to distance himself from me. I am not stupid. I felt that rejection, so I stopped forcing warmth onto his coldness. He had good grades and good looks, but a cold personality and a weak body, unable to really fit in anywhere. In high school, half-grown boys, full of hot blood, started bullying him. I heard some kids playing basketball say, "That pretty boy is so annoying. Why not break one of his fingers?" Chen Yi's fingers. They were meant for studying, for writing, for changing his life. I followed them and used the techniques Chen Yi's father taught me to teach them a harsh lesson. I got hurt too, but it didn't matter. I had thick skin. I could take it. As I carried my backpack upstairs, Chen Yi waited in the shadows. With a dark expression, he took me to his place, pulled out a medical kit, and skillfully treated my wounds. That was the first time I went to his home. After his father died, Chen Yi's father was stabbed to death. While trying to help someone, his skills were more than enough to handle those people, but one of them had a knife. That knife was plunged into his stomach, pulled out, and stabbed in again. Chen Yi's father didn't even make it to see Chen Yi one last time. The person he saved moved away overnight and vanished. The man who stabbed him was sentenced, but couldn't pay a cent in compensation. Chen Yi knelt in front of the grave, expressionless, saying his father deserved it for overestimating himself. He said what he hated most were people who only knew how to solve problems with violence. From that moment on, he was no longer willing to talk to me. That day, he lowered his head and treated the wounds on my hand. His voice was soft and slow. He said, "Li Shang, don't fight people anymore, especially not because of me." Chen Yi had not been this miserable in a long time. He slammed his name down heavily at the end of the document, threw the divorce agreement to the ground, got dressed, and left without looking back. I slept soundly, and when I woke up naturally, I called a moving company and started packing. When Chen Yi came back, the workers were carrying that huge oil painting outside. "What are you doing? Who told you to move this?" Chen Yi got out of the car and jogged over, his face dark. The workers looked at each other. I walked out slowly. I did. "What's wrong?" Chen Yi took a deep breath. "What are you stirring up again? Isn't this my painting?" Chen Yi, so you were the one who bought it. Why didn't you tell me? You are really annoying. Shaji got out of the passenger seat. saying she found it annoying, but her eyes lit up. As she looked at the painting, Chen Yi stiffened, and instinctively looked at me. I smiled faintly. Unfortunately, I bought it. Back then I was blind. Spent nearly 200,000 on this thing. The more I think about it now, the more disgusting it feels. That was the hardest time. In Chen Yi's startup years, he was so busy he barely touched the ground, yet still made time to be with me. He took me to an art exhibition. I didn't know how to appreciate art, couldn't tell good from bad, but I noticed he stood in front of an oil painting for a long time, reluctant to leave, so I scrimped and saved, and used all the money I earned in those years to buy that painting as his birthday gift. Later, we moved many times. The houses got bigger and bigger. The one thing we always kept was that oil painting. I thought he cherished it because it was my birthday gift to him, until he rushed to Hong Kong and brought Shaji back. Shaji painted a picture in the courtyard. The signature was exactly the same as that oil painting. What does it feel like to have your entire world shattered in an instant? It's hard to describe. I only know. I squatted on the ground for a long time, my face pale, my jaw clenched, a metallic taste seeping into my mouth. My words clearly provoked Shaji. She angrily tried to rush forward. What do you mean? Chen Yi grabbed her, stopping her from reaching me. Shaji looked at him in disbelief. You are protecting her. She shook off Chen Yi, her eyes red, and turned to run. Chen Yi didn't let go, but softened his voice. All right, go wait in the car first. I take you to see Director Fang later. Shaji puffed out her cheeks. Still angry, she glared at me, but in the end, she obediently got into the car. Chen Yi wanted to say something. I looked at him, with a half smile. Shaji doesn't know, but I do. You look like you're stopping her, but you're actually protecting her. But you're overthinking it. I won't touch her. Hurting myself for her isn't worth it. Chen Yi's expression stiffened briefly, but he was sharp enough to recover quickly. Stop overthinking things all day. Shaji, I was just helping her, out of past affection. Don't project those filthy thoughts onto me and her. Hypocritical. That was the only word I could think of. I laughed coldly. Is it that you don't want to? No, it's that you don't deserve to. Shaji was a rich heiress. When Chen Yi and I lived on $5 a day, a single hair clip on her head cost 120,000. A little princess like that, we should never have even had the chance to meet. But that year, she transferred to our high school as an exchange student for 1 year. Arrogant, precious. The little princess set her sights on Chen Yi at first glance. Hey, can I sit next to you? No. Can you teach me homework? No time. Chen Yi, I like you. I don't like you. Rejected again and again. The little princess grew furious. She began targeting Chen Yi, pouring milk over his exam papers, dumping a whole bowl of soup on him, mocking him for not being able to afford new shoes, falsely accusing him of stealing her pen. Chen Yi told me not to interfere, saying he could handle it, but his grades kept slipping. That was a fact. I took matters into my own hands and went to find Shaji, warned her not to touch Chen Yi again, or I would not be polite. That time, Chen Yi was furious. He forced me to apologize to Shaji, and even carried Shaji home on his back. He told me, Shaji is someone we can't afford to offend. We can only endure. Endure until we no longer have to look at others' faces. I always thought Chen Yi hated Shaji, but people are that complicated. There is no pure love, and no pure hatred. It's always love and hate intertwined. Chen Yi ignored the busy workers in the villa, grabbed the documents he needed, and left, leaving only one sentence: do whatever you want. Then of course, I did exactly that. I threw away the oil painting, the wedding photos, the master bedroom bed, and even an entire wardrobe of Chen Yi's clothes. The last truck hauled away all my belongings, and left in a grand procession. That night, I laid out bedding on the floor, in the half-unpacked house, staring wide-eyed, until dawn. When I woke up, I was already on a made bed. I wasn't surprised. I didn't think I had sleepwalked, or that a thief had broken in. The only person who could find this place was Chen Yi. Sure enough, when I walked out of the bedroom, he was cooking noodles. Chen Yi learned things quickly. In those years, we were too poor to afford any ready-made food, so Chen Yi did everything himself. Cooking rice, stir-frying, making soup. He always learned once, and got the flavor right. I was the complete opposite. He couldn't understand. Can't you just follow the recipe properly? Why do you always have sudden ideas? I couldn't understand either. Just missing a scallion. So what? Why go downstairs to buy it? Those chaotic days were full of everyday warmth. But thinking about it carefully, it felt like a lifetime ago. Up already. Brush your teeth. Wash your face. Eat breakfast. I didn't move. The deed to this place has my name on it. Don't come here again. Chen Yi stopped stirring the noodles. He turned off the heat, shut down the range hood, and turned around. He asked me, I can promise you that Shaji's existence will not threaten our marriage. You will always be Mrs. Chen. What else are you dissatisfied with? That is exactly what I am dissatisfied with. He thinks I should swallow my anger. Do you know how many good days I've actually had? The day before yesterday was my 30th birthday. 10 months before that, I was pregnant. 6 months before that, Chen Yi's company went public. At 18, we got into college. Chen Yi started testing the waters in finance through stock trading, while also studying software development. I didn't have his brain, so I sold small items, made a little profit from the price difference, and later worked as a sparring partner. In sophomore year, he had some savings, and his courage grew. I rented a storefront off campus, and became a small business owner. In the second semester of sophomore year, he lost everything. I liquidated all the goods in my shop, and used all my savings to help him cover the loss. At 20, you never lack the courage to start over. He said, he would definitely give me a good life. I said, we would work hard together. He wrote code and developed software. I became a personal trainer, one-on-one. Later he wanted to start a business, and needed seed money. Once again, I put in everything I had, and took out many loans. Chen Yi even sold the house back home, with everything on the line. He succeeded, from a small company, to a big one, to going public. It took him 7 years. Those 7 years, for the first 3, I worked for him for free. For the last 2, he supported me. Once at a high school reunion, they played Truth or Dare. Chen Yi chose Truth. The question was, if you were given another chance, would you choose Li Shang or Shaji? A question that made me a little stunned, my whole body tense. But Chen Yi made his choice quickly. He wrapped an arm around me, and said without hesitation, of course Li Shang from our family. 100 times it would still be Li Shang from our family. A friend asked him, really? They were hiding on the terrace smoking. Chen Yi didn't have his phone. I went to bring it to him, and happened to hear him say, back then I was too poor. If Shaji stayed with me she would only suffer. A rich young lady like her, how could she endure that kind of hardship? Then what about Li Shang? Li Shang is different. She is most afraid of nothing more than hardship. It was a very strange feeling. Even now when I think back, I don't feel like the person standing there, hearing those words, was me. It was as if I were an audience member, watching an eavesdropping scene on stage. Not sad, not embarrassed, completely numb, no feeling at all. I didn't question Chen Yi, and I didn't make a scene. I lived very normally for 3 months. So normal that later, when I tried to recall it, I couldn't even remember what I did or thought during those 3 months. You probably don't understand why. At first, I didn't understand either. It was much later that I learned a term, dissociative response. Under extreme and unbearable pain, the human mind activates a self-protection mechanism. It's like a switch, temporarily cutting off the connection between the individual and the source of pain, to prevent the psychological system from completely collapsing. That must have been my state then. My grandmother said, live like a wild weed, not like a delicate flower. Even if the blow is fatal, as long as there is one breath left, you can rise from the ashes. I began to rebuild myself. First the body, then capability, and finally the mind. I worked out, burned fat, shaped my body. I connected with wealthy wives, taught them fitness, designed meal plans, helped them condition their bodies. They became the first members of my first club. Once people have money, they can avoid many detours, and make even more money. At first, Chen Yi only thought I was killing time, his words and expressions full of contempt. But when I opened my first branch, he showed up in person, to help me cut the ribbon. He wrapped an arm around my waist, looked at me, and his gaze carried seriousness, recognition, and care. I became busier and busier, doing training, going live, recording courses, giving talks. When a person starts charging forward boldly, her thinking grows like wild vines. It doesn't take long to build a complete structure of her own. From that moment on, I began cutting, one by one, the strings Chen Yi had tied to me. Chen Yi, I just want a few more peaceful days. The two of us are probably the kind of people who can endure hardship together, but cannot share prosperity. Between you and Shaji, do whatever you want, just don't drag me into it. I am serious about divorce. See you at the civil affairs office tomorrow. Now, get out of my house. With every word I said, Chen Yi's anger grew stronger. He growled, I've said it many times. There is nothing between Shaji and me. What exactly will it take for you to believe me? Emotions are contagious. I had been fairly calm, but being yelled at like that lit my temper too. Do you really think I've put up with you for so many days? Because I am good-tempered. Shaji charging into the entertainment industry at 30 isn't easy, right? But I believe you can throw money at it and push her up. Then what if I come forward and accuse her of interfering in my marriage? Chen Yi wanted to say more. I cut him off. No need to argue with me. If I don't see you at the civil affairs office tomorrow, save those words and explain them to the public instead. Chen Yi left 2 hours ago. Shaji's call came 2 hours later. Very direct. She gave an address and said, let's meet and talk. I stared at the call record, barely 5 seconds long, for a long time, then blocked and deleted her number. But Shaji had always been spoiled, first by her parents, after her family went bankrupt, by Chen Yi, so much so that she seemed to think the whole world should indulge her. She went straight to my flagship store, wearing sunglasses, stormed into the office, and said coldly, have Li Shang come see me. When Coach Kai called, I was working out. He asked me how to handle it. I told him to ignore it, then made a call to Chen Yi. Chen Yi didn't answer, raising an eyebrow. I called Chen Yi's assistant, now Shaji's agent. Madam, what can I do for you? Tell Chen Yi to keep his people in check. If this keeps up, I will expose it to the media. Before long, Shaji left angrily. Before leaving, she even smashed a coffee cup at me. I could guess what Shaji wanted to say. Nothing more than, she doesn't care about Chen Yi at all. Chen Yi is nothing to her. My relationship with Chen Yi has nothing to do with her. She only focuses on her career, and doesn't engage in female rivalry. When she says these things often enough, she starts to believe them herself. I arrived at the civil affairs office at 8 sharp. I waited half an hour, without seeing Chen Yi. I called him. Before I could speak, his suppressed angry voice came through. I am on the way. Wait a bit. So I waited another hour. When I was on the verge of exploding, Chen Yi's car finally arrived. He got out of the driver's seat, did not lock the car, but opened the passenger door. At that moment, my heart sank hard. I watched Shaji get out of the car unhappily, complaining while looking in the mirror. It's all your fault. Why were you in such a hurry? My eyebrows are crooked. Look. She leaned closer to Chen Yi. Isn't it ugly? Chen Yi stiffened, stepped back slightly, and glanced at me. Maybe my expression looked too bad. Chen Yi tightened his face. All right, didn't you say you had something to say to Li Shang? Shaji froze. I couldn't see her expression clearly, but just half her face was enough to tell. Her expression was ugly. Then she turned and walked toward me. She said, you really don't need to make such a fuss. I've said it 100 times. Chen Yi and I are completely innocent. If you want a divorce, that's fine. Don't drag me into it. I am not taking the blame. I really don't get it. She frowned deeply, with contempt in her eyes. Is it that in your mind, men and women only have romantic relationships, and nothing else? What? Can you not live without a man? I ignored her, lowered my head, and scrolled through my phone. My obvious distraction made Shaji very unhappy. Li Shang, do you have any manners? I am talking to you. The next second, a message notification sounded on Chen Yi's phone. I looked up. If I haven't done anything to you, do you really think I am afraid of you? No, I am just too lazy to waste time on you. Now, I pointed at Shaji. You, get back in the car. Then pointed at Chen Yi. You come in with me to get divorced. You. Shaji was about to shout angrily, but Chen Yi stopped her. His face had never looked this bad. His phone was clenched tightly, his fingertips already pale. The reason was simple. I had just sent him 2 photos and 1 video. In the photos, Shaji was wrapped in a bath towel, Chen Yi holding her horizontally in his arms. In the other, Chen Yi was kneeling on one knee, Shaji's foot resting on his thigh. The video was even more interesting. In a hotel room, Shaji turned her back to the camera and took off her coat. Chen Yi's tie was messy, and he pulled the curtains closed. How do you have this video? Chen Yi's voice was low. Did you have someone take it? I calmly shook my head. No, but the person who took it contacted me first. The price was 4 million. I didn't want to spend that money, so I gave him your contact information. We didn't. Shaji blurted out anxiously. I ignored her, my gaze still on Chen Yi. Whether you did or not doesn't matter. Otherwise you wouldn't have paid the 4 million. I knew they most likely didn't actually sleep together. Shaji was still playing hard to get. She wouldn't let Chen Yi touch her so soon. Otherwise her value would drop sharply. But it didn't matter. This kind of thing can't be proven innocent. The destructive power of a scandal is far greater than 4 million. I didn't expose this because I also hold shares in the company. Market turbulence would hurt me too. But Chen Yi, don't push me. After that, I walked toward the elevator. The elevator went down from the 3rd floor to -1. When the doors opened, Chen Yi had already walked over. He didn't speak again. The whole way in silence. We took a number and waited. The staff asked, "Are you sure you want a divorce?" I said, "Yes." Chen Yi's voice followed, "Yes. 24 years of entanglement, 5 years of marriage, a child who arrived and left too soon, finally came to an end." When I walked out of the civil affairs office, I looked up at the sky. At that moment, my nose stung slightly. A sudden emotional surge. I didn't even know why. All of a sudden, I drove, looped onto the highway, and sped all the way back to the city where Chen Yi and I once lived. I went to the cemetery, paid respects to my grandmother, then sat for a while in front of Chen Yi's father's grave. That tall man once said to me, "Li Shang, you must protect Xiao Yi well, but first, you must protect yourself." Since childhood, I never understood my grandmother, why she always raised me like a boy, cut my hair short, wouldn't let me wear skirts, and made me exercise. She didn't let me accept things from others, whether snacks or small gifts. In middle school, someone gave me a love letter. I thought it was interesting, but my grandmother angrily tore it up, then hid in her room, and cried for a long time. Her extremeness once made me rebel against her, even run away from home. The first time my grandmother ever hit me, she slapped me hard, then held me and cried, "I can't go on much longer. I can't stay with you many more days. What will you do in the future? You can't follow your mother's path. You will destroy yourself." She couldn't explain big principles. She couldn't tell me that the benefits of beauty, once tasted, become addictive, and overindulgence turns a person into nothing. She never had a single peaceful day. She had a beautiful daughter, unmarried. She had a child, ran away with someone, ruined other people's families, selfish and self-serving. She just wanted her daughter's daughter to grow up to be a proper person. I think I've done right by her, but I also disturbed her peace. There was a time when I cried by her grave, but now, it's fine. I've never felt this good before. Chen Yi and I spent some time negotiating the division of assets. The necessary transfers were made. The property titles were handed over. When we first drafted the divorce agreement, the lawyer had told me, if speed is the priority, we could compromise a bit on the assets, but if I wanted the most benefit, it would take more time. I thought about it for a long time. In the end, I approached the division of assets fairly. At the time of signing, Chen Yi didn't read it carefully. When he looked at the document again, he was silent for a long time. "You're becoming more and more like a rational, successful businessman. I didn't let you lose out. That's not what I meant." My work became busier, and my interactions with Chen Yi became fewer and fewer. Shaji started joining the crew. She wasn't happy about being a supporting role and snapped at everyone. That's what Mrs. Shu told me when she came to work out. Her husband was an investor in that drama, and Chen Yi had connections with their family, so the director's complaints went straight to them. Mrs. Shu didn't understand. What exactly does Chen Yi see in her? She's not young, not a beauty, and her personality is just average. Is she asking for trouble? I held her waist and told her to take a deep breath. While smiling, I said, "The things you can't have always seem better. The things you can't get always seem the best. The white moonlight thing still has a huge impact, and it seems like I've become the white moonlight." That day, Chen Yi suddenly called me. He asked, "The shampoo at home is finished. Which brand did you buy?" I was on the treadmill, breathing heavily. "Auntie buys it regularly. You can ask her." Chen Yi paused for a few seconds. "Where are you? What are you doing?" I didn't answer him and hung up. A couple of days later, in the early morning, his assistant called. "Madam, Mr. Chen is drunk. He doesn't want me to touch him. Could you come pick him up?" I stared at the ceiling for a while, and replied with 3 words. "Can't pick him up." That afternoon, Chen Yi called again. His voice was weak. The doctor asked if I was allergic to any medications. I don't know. That's when I started to feel something was off. I didn't speak, but I could hear his soft breathing on the other end. It had been a long time since we'd been this quietly silent with each other. He was busy. I was busy. We only spoke about important things. No small talk. Some say that the more trivial things a couple talks about, the higher their happiness. But what is a couple? It's someone you'd spend time with, even doing nothing, even wasting time. But such a simple thing was so difficult for me and Chen Yi. Chen Yi, you keep contacting me like this. It's making me think you regret it. There was a brief pause in Chen Yi's breathing. Then it suddenly became heavier. He growled, "What do you mean, regret? I never thought about divorce. It's you who insisted. It's you who forced me." "Yes." My voice was light. "I'm forcing you. But how strange. We were originally married, and yet I can use another woman to manipulate you." I continued, "You don't have any allergies. Unless necessary, don't contact me again." At Mrs. Shu's birthday, I was on the invite list. When I arrived, the party had already started. I gave Mrs. Shu her gift. She pulled me aside and chatted for a long time. When it was time to entertain other guests, she turned and pushed a man in front of me. "My good friend, take care of her." Then she said, "My brother, feel free to ask him for anything." After saying that, she lifted her skirt and walked away, leaving me and her brother staring at each other. But the man quickly reacted, and courteously toasted me. "Zhou Yanxuan, how should I address you?" "Li Shang." He was a warm person, no aggression, and very talkative. We hit it off within a few sentences. "I heard you're into fitness." He raised his eyebrows. "My shoulders and neck have been bothering me lately. Any exercises for that?" I put down my glass. "Mind if I take your pulse?" "You can do that?" "A little bit." Many female clients need physical conditioning while working out, so I invited a Chinese medicine doctor to sit in. I trained under him for a while, so when I meet potential clients like Zhou Yanxuan, I can showcase my professionalism. Chinese medicine focuses on observation, smelling, asking, and feeling. For me, the first three are enough. The last part is just for show. I can't diagnose major issues, but I can detect symptoms. Just like Zhou Yanxuan, his pulse was tight, with weak points in the left wrist. On the other side, his right wrist was fine but shallow. "You've been staying up late recently, Mr. Zhou." "Liver qi stagnation. Nothing serious. But right now, headache?" Zhou Yanxuan's eyes widened, obviously surprised. "Right." He gave me a thumbs up. "Li boss. Impressive. It's a bit of a headache, but not serious." I looked around. "Let's go to a quiet place. I'll press on it. It won't do much but it can help relieve it." "Okay." As we were heading to another lounge, someone suddenly grabbed my arm. I turned around, and it was Chen Yi. He had a stiff face, and his gaze was unfriendly. Looking at Zhou Yanxuan, I asked him, "What's up?" "Yes." Zhou Yanxuan looked at me. "Do you need help?" I smiled. "Wait a second." But Chen Yi was already pulling me outside. I broke free. "What's the matter? Who is that guy?" He ignored my question, and I knew he was looking for trouble. He turned to leave, but then grabbed me again. I looked at him with a stern face. "Chen Yi, you can't have everything, and not everything is yours." In that instant, I saw confusion and helplessness in his eyes. That night, Zhou Yanxuan hitched a ride with me. I drove him home. I knew Chen Yi's car was following closely. Zhou Yanxuan said, "If you need help, you can call me." I politely declined, but we exchanged contact information. I didn't go directly home. I parked by the side of the road. Soon, Chen Yi slowly walked over. "Li Shang, let's talk." I didn't know what we could talk about, or if there was anything left to talk about. He opened his mouth, but just as he was about to speak, Shaji suddenly rushed out from somewhere and grabbed Chen Yi. "Why didn't you answer my calls? What are you doing here? Do you know what I've been through these past few days? Are you following me?" Shaji glared at Chen Yi. "So what if I'm following you? I just want to see what you've been doing every day." "Chen Yi, you said you'd protect me, but now that I'm being bullied, where are you? Is it because of her?" She pointed at me without any courtesy. "I thought you were something special, but you're just playing hard to get. Li Shang, always playing these sneaky games. Is it fun?" "Shut up." Chen Yi pulled Shaji away, blocking her in front of me. Shaji was in disbelief. "You're protecting her?" "Chen Yi, you begged me to go with you. You said you'd take care of me, protect me." "Chen Yi, you jerk." Chen Yi's temple throbbed. Shaji's every word made his hands tighten by his sides. Shaji's tears used to make him feel heartbroken, but now they made him feel suffocated and frustrated. Then he heard the sound of a car door closing behind him. He abruptly turned around. I expressionlessly looked at the rearview mirror, started the car, and drove off. Shaji got into trouble. Because of her arrogance and disrespect, the director decided to replace her. No matter who had pushed her into the role, Shaji couldn't handle the humiliation. And during the confrontation, she scratched the director's face. I looked at the clear picture in my phone, and said to the person on the other end, send it out. Leave some suspense. Let everyone guess her identity. I knew divorce wasn't going to be easy, so I had to strike decisively. Shaji's timing was perfect. With her, I could control Chen Yi's weak spot, and I was still waiting for time. So far, it's been over a year since Chen Yi's company went public. The lockup period for the stocks passed. I started gradually selling off my shares, until I completely withdrew. Everything was legal and above board. Now, my assets are enough to let me live off of for the rest of my life. Soon, news of the small actress causing a scene on set hit the trending searches. There were two main speculations. 1. The actress was truly wronged. 2. The actress had an extraordinary background. Soon, staff from the same drama team came forward, accusing the actress of having no acting skills, being arrogant, unable to take criticism, and being a diva. They said she was brought in by some capital. Why not just keep her at home like a trophy? Why bring her out to torment others? I quietly waited for Chen Yi's response. But 24 hours passed, and he didn't react. So, as everyone was guessing who this capital was, the second clue came out. A Cullinan, a man in the driver's seat, a woman eating cherries in the passenger seat. The man reached out his hand and caught the cherry pit she spit out. Soon, Chen Yi's name was exposed, including his company, his marriage, and me as his wife. The company's official Weibo quickly responded, just friends, no malicious speculation, and reserving the right to take legal action. At the same time, I responded, thank you for the invitation. I've already divorced. Instantly, speculation ran wild, and just then, Chen Yi's call came in. Why? I gently tapped the desk, without denying it, because I'm unhappy. When I miscarried, you made two decisions. First, you sent me to the hospital. Second, you rushed to Hong Kong to bring Shaji back. So I made two decisions. First, divorce you. Second, make you feel some pain. Chen Yi's phone hung up abruptly. Then came the third wave of clues. A video. Chen Yi and Shaji checked into the same hotel and stayed up all night. A scumbag and his mistress. Love and marriage. These things never lack discussion. But at the same time, their impact is limited. It won't bring Chen Yi and Shaji to ruin, but it's enough to make them hurt. Just like what happened to me back then. An accident after drinking, and I found out I was pregnant. At that time, I didn't even know myself. It was also then that Shaji's family suddenly went bankrupt. When Chen Yi found out, without hesitation, he booked a plane ticket for himself through his assistant. That day was my grandmother's death anniversary. We were at a rest stop on the highway. I said at least let me go back and pay respects. He was irritated. I can't just watch someone die without helping. Watch someone die? Who's dying? No one is. But when he pushed me away, my child died. For a moment, Chen Yi was in panic, holding me and rushing to the hospital. I miscarried. Anesthesia. DC. My lower abdomen felt icy. The cramping pain curled me up in bed. Chen Yi said, don't be sad. We'll have other children. He tucked the blanket around me, warmed the hand that was hooked up to the IV, until it was almost time for the plane to take off. He left. He was gone for a week and returned with Shaji. I was discharged from the hospital, and everything went back to normal. Chen Yi sighed in relief and told me, Shaji will stay at our place for a while. Take care of her. A scandal always harms a woman more than a man. Amid the insults of, get out of the entertainment industry, Shaji collapsed. She screamed at me, why are you doing this to me? What makes you better than me? Everything you have now, isn't it because of Chen Yi's influence? You're just a little luckier than me. But Li Shang, the person in Chen Yi's heart has always been me. You'll never be better than me. I watched her rage, her face twisted with anger, and sarcastically asked, is it that Chen Yi won't touch you? I know him. He won't touch you. These words undoubtedly hit a nerve with Shaji. She raised her hand, about to slap me. I didn't dodge. I lifted my foot, and as she came close, I kicked her knee. Shaji screamed, falling to the ground, her face pale, her eyes even momentarily blank. You dare hit me? When did I hit you? Didn't you kneel to apologize to me? Li Shang. Ah. I grabbed a chair nearby. I raised it in her screaming face, then held it above her ear. Her eyes were filled with terror, her body shaking, tears pouring. I stared at her expressionlessly. When I hit, I don't hold back. Don't provoke me. When Chen Yi arrived, Shaji was still kneeling on the ground. She saw him and rushed to him, but he avoided her. He waved his hand, signaling the assistant to take Shaji away. Shaji was clearly unwilling, but after being hit, She blushed and didn't say another word. Chen Yi looked at me. He seemed heavy, suppressed, his face pale, and he looked exhausted. Seeing him like that, if I said I wasn't unhappy, it would be a lie. For a moment, I felt unburdened. In the end, Chen Yi knows me. He lowered his gaze, and a self-deprecating smile formed on his face. Do you hate me that much? I spun my pen in my office chair. Not really. It's not that serious. I simply dislike you. I did hate him at one time, but later I realized that hate was too intense. It couldn't accurately express my feelings. Dislike, loathing, seemed more precise. Clearly, Chen Yi felt the sharpness of those words. His hand twitched for a second. Even his voice went hoarse. He said, I never thought about hurting you, but in the end, you'll be with Shaji. I won't. He said it firmly, with righteous determination. I turned my head away. It's none of my business. Go away. Think about it. Leave. Actually, I'm not sure if Chen Yi will ever touch Shaji. I was just testing her. But the answer was clearly just as I expected. Of course. I don't care whether Chen Yi touches Shaji. I simply want to watch the drama. See them both unhappy. Now I think Chen Yi truly won't touch Shaji in the short term. But what about Shaji? Is she in a rush? A good show. There's more to come. Of course. Watching drama is just a part of life. I'm also pretty busy. During this time, Zhou Yanxuan asked me out for 2 meals. Zhou Whining sent me a bunch of exclamation marks. You're not planning to become my sister-in-law, are you? I replied with a question mark. You think too much. My relationship with your brother is purely platonic. He's a very mature and thoughtful person, and it's easy to talk to him. But I also know that when a man has no real thoughts, he's more likely to bond with other men. If they spend time on you, they must have an agenda. One day, I was once again driving Zhou Yanxuan home. He asked if I wanted to come in. I smiled and shook my head. No thanks. I ate too much today. I still have to go for a night run. I'm a divorced, 30-plus woman. I'm past the age where I believe in love falling from the sky. As for physical relationships, I've been focusing on health lately, abstaining. I got home an hour and a half later, and saw Chen Yi waiting at my door. He was sitting on the floor with his long legs curled up, looking somewhat pitiful. I watched him for a while and kicked him with my foot. He shook his head, his eyes hazy as he looked up at me. You're running a fever. Chen Yi collapsed at my door. I was torn between ignoring him or kicking him when, out of some last shred of conscience, I contacted his assistant. I pushed him with my foot and went inside. About 40 minutes later, I heard noise. He must have been dragged away. I shrugged. Whatever. A fever won't kill him. But this seemed to hit Chen Yi particularly hard. He showed up at my door again wearing a hospital gown. His eyes were red, bloodshot. You wouldn't treat me like this. Li Shang wouldn't treat me like this. She would never ignore me. Those words were strange. He said Li Shang, referring to me in the third person. It was like he wasn't talking about me at all. But I often felt that way too. The Li Shang who silently protected Chen Yi. The Li Shang who helped him clear obstacles so he could focus on his studies. I often thought about her and found her weak and foolish. Then there was the Li Shang who was heartbroken over Chen Yi. How could I do such a cowardly, stupid, and embarrassing thing? But that was me, and I can't even empathize with that version of myself. But it doesn't stop me from lowering my gaze and feeling lost. It's too late. Chen Yi, there's too much between us. We can't go back. Does it hurt? Chen Yi is hurting. The pain in his eyes, his heavy breathing, almost bending his waist. I will send Shaji away. That seemed like his promise to me, but he broke it. The day after he decided to send Shaji away, Shaji slept with him. The photos were sent to my phone. Shaji, like a victor, flaunted. He's mine now. I just laughed. Shaji is out. Chen Yi, you know, I once thought he was unique, unlike anyone else. But later, I realized one word could sum him up perfectly. Pretentious. He openly hated Shaji, rejected her confession, but deep down, he was deeply in love with her, unable to forget her for years. Was he loyal? If he was truly loyal, he wouldn't have been with me. I stayed with him, helped him, and thought we were mutually in love. But in the end, he thought I was only worthy of accompanying him in suffering. He enjoyed my good, while reminiscing about Shaji's good. Who does he truly love? I used to wonder, but now I think he probably loves no one. He only loves himself. And Shaji? A proud, vengeful young lady. When she finds that even after lowering herself, Chen Yi still rejects her, she'll probably start her revenge just like when she was younger. Dog bites dog. They both have fur. I happily hummed while packing my things. preparing for a business trip to the capital. The trip will last half a month, mainly for learning and exchange. Before my trip ended, Shaji did something big. She went to the police station with a slap mark on her face, scratches on her neck, and Chen Yi's biological evidence inside her. She reported that Chen Yi had raped her. When I heard this news, I was somewhat confused. Chen Yi was going to jail? It was Zhou Weining who told me this. My silence made her suspicious. You're not feeling sorry for him, are you? I laughed. No, it's just a little hard to believe. By the time I returned from the capital, Chen Yi had already been arrested. Any case is hard to process. Shaji refused to back down. All eyes on revenge. The entire case took almost a year from filing to prosecution. During that time, countless people came to ask me for updates. Some even tried to persuade me to help, but I politely shut them down. My life kept moving forward. Chen Yi and Shaji's entanglement was just casual conversation. The only thing worth mentioning is that during this time, Chen Yi's lawyer passed along a message. He asked me if I regretted meeting him. I didn't give him an answer, but I thought about it for a long time. I guess I don't regret it. Those days were too hard. Hard like being submerged in ice-cold water. Even breathing felt cold, and loneliness is an even more tormenting thing, like vines around your neck, squeezing the life out of you. Back then, I really needed someone, even if they were just sitting beside me, saying a few insignificant words. It would have made it feel less unbearable. Later, he really wasn't good. Those bad things were like needles piercing my heart, hurting every time they touched. But the companionship was real. His presence gave me a gap to breathe. So what's there to regret? At least during those days, he was the one who made me feel like life wasn't so hard.